What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Check-In Podcast. My name is Cameron Billetts, and for those of you who have never tuned into the Check-In Podcast before, the Check-In Podcast is a safe space geared towards teens and young adults, where we talk about everyday trials, triumphs, and everything in between. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, the theme this season is self-care. Now, I wanted to steer away from all of the topics around self-indulgence and greed and consumption that usually cloud our judgment about self-care. And I want to talk about things that will really actively help us become a better version of ourselves. So this season, we've talked about things like, health and wellness, fitness, rest, spiritual practice, change of scenery, change of your mindset, etc., etc. Well, in this particular episode, my goal is to talk about creativity and how creativity plays a role in self-care. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Aminah herself, CEO and founder of Ahmadj Hairco, to talk about self-care and creativity. What's up, Aminah? How are you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad you're here on this episode today. I wanted a creative on this episode. And of course, like you might have thought that I was going to choose, a photographer, a videographer, a musician. But I really want to choose somebody who I think not only is a creative, but also is a creative that directly deals with aspects of self-care. So I'm going to tell, before I even get into like the connection that I made between you on this episode, tell us who you are and what you do.
I am a hairstylist of 7 years now. Outside of hair, I also take pictures from time to time. Consider me a content creator. Fashion lover / icon. I do a little bit of creative directing, and what else do I do? That's pretty much, yeah.
Makeup,
yeah. You can add makeup on there.
Yes. So she is an homage creator, an image creator, I would say. And I found the link between like self-care and like what Aminah does, because you guys know out there, my guys and my girls, when we go get our hair done, it's considered self-care. We add it to our self-care day, whether that's getting our hair done and our nails done and a wax or whatever the case may be. We consider getting our hair done as an act of self-care. So as a self-care practitioner, I really want to sit down and talk to Aminah just about the links between self-care, creativity, and what she does. Now, Aminah has been on this episode before, and there's some things that we do a little differently and some things that have stayed the same. So in terms of things that have stayed the same, I asked all my guests this question. If you could use one word to describe your week so far, what would that word be?
This week or last week?
Well, last week, because we're at the beginning.
Okay. Chaotic.
Chaotic.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you say chaotic?
Unfortunately. Girl, I was just coming back from a trip from New York.
Okay. What were we doing in New York?
New York Fashion Week.
Okay. Serious.
My first New York Fashion Week. That was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. But I spent way too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like the week after that was like me making my funds back. I didn't really get to go to the gym last week either. I feel like I just had a lack of routine. I did make that money back, but there was no routine. So I feel like that's what kind of made it chaotic. But I started my week off strong. I went to the gym this morning at 7 a.m. So I'm feeling like myself again,
Yeah. That's so valid. I feel like, you said the word is chaotic, but it also sounds super productive. And that's kind of like what my week was last week as well, because I normally work from home on Mondays, but I went in last Monday. And I was dreading going in on Monday, but I actually think going into the office on Monday kind of like kickstarted my week for the good. Because it just kind of like locked me in on like my goals and like what I need to do. And then I work from home on Tuesday, but by Tuesday, like I was already in high gear of like what I needed to do for the week. And I had already started off strong on Monday. So that was nothing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Do you work on Mondays or like normally, like what are normally like your work days?
So Mondays are usually the day that I'm working on content.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes I will add Mondays in. So like every other Monday, I try to add onto my schedule just to have. But yeah, I like to start my week off so that I can make the content that I'm supposed to. Then
that makes a ton of sense. Now we talked about things that have stayed the same since the last time you were on the podcast, but something that's different since the last time you were on the podcast is that With all of my guests this season, I've been doing rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Now, these rapid fire questions have to do with an episode topic about creativity and self-care and hairstyling. And you have to answer these rapid fire questions, of course, rapidly. And second, with one answer, with one word, if you can. So, without further ado, let me get on to asking you these rapid fire questions. So the first one is, what's the word that comes to mind when you think of hairstyling? First word.
Me.
You thought you did something, didn't you?
Do you believe hairstyling is more art or science?
Art.
Morning or night? When are you most creative?
Night.
What's your favorite hair trend of all time? Or currently?
Bangs.
If you could do one celebrity's hair, who would it be?
Doechii.
Do you believe everyone is creative?
Yes.
What's your go-to self-care ritual after a long day at the salon?
The beard.
What's one hair product you swear by?
Kimra's heat protectant spray.
Period.
Blow dry spray, to be exact.
Okay. Do you prefer bold transformations or subtle changes?
Bold transformations.
What's the most creative request you've ever received from a client?
Probably painting my friend's bald head.
Okay.
Like color designs.
Do you think confidence comes from within, or does the right look help you bring it out?
The right look helps you bring it out.
What's one unconventional thing that fuels your creativity?
Fitness.
What's one piece of hair advice you wish more people followed?
Wash your hair 3 times.
And that's the end of the rapid fire questions.
Okay.
You did pretty good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, like, moving on into like what this episode is really about, we see that your slogan is "Where Ahmadj is everything." So, I kind of want to know, what does creativity mean to you, and how does it shape your like identity, or in this instance, your image?
Okay. What does creativity mean to me? Creativity is the way that we come off in this world. I feel like it's what separates me from the next person, or you from the next person. It allows us to create our own identities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you see yourself as like just a hairstylist, or do you see yourself as like so much more?
Oh, no. I would consider myself a creative, honestly.
Okay.
Like, hair is what I started with, but I feel like I never, or whenever I feel like a new inkling to try something new, I do it, because that's a big part of the creative or creativity that, we're talking about today and embracing. So outside of doing hair, I like styling my guy friends. Like, they always come to me, ask me for advice, like, oh, should I wear this? So that's something fun. Creative directing I've kind of gotten into, and also just taking pictures, putting looks together, and, just throwing fits.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Now, you mentioned like you see yourself as an overall creative, but how does hairstyling specifically like serve as a creative outlet for you?
It was my first creative outlet.
Okay.
So that was the one thing like that allowed me to express myself in a time where I felt like I didn't really have anything else, because like clothes weren't really an option then.
Yeah.
Simply because my mom was just not buying me the stuff that I wanted to wear. But
always like that.
Yeah, like if I had a little extra coin, I was going to that beauty supply store, I was buying some hair, and I was figuring out what I was about to do with my hair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel like it was the first thing that allowed me to raise my confidence.
Okay.
In the control of my hands.
Yeah. So you feel like hairstyling like is confidence boosting?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I think that's how I became so confident, honestly. Like, because when you do that style that you didn't think that you could do, and then you're getting compliments from everyone, it's like, okay, maybe I am that girl. Like,
maybe I can pull this off.
Yeah, that's how it started for real.
I love that for you. I'm a little paranoid. Let me see pictures.
I read it to you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. But I completely feel you on that because I feel like that's how I got into my style. I feel like, I was talking about this to somebody before about just like me kind of like getting to like my own sense of style and fashion. And I was just like, it really just started with my hair. Like I didn't really have the clothes that I wanted, but like my hair was able to stay done. Yeah. I was always like kind of down to try something different.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was also down to try things differently because I had so many like hair mistakes or screw ups or mess ups that I learned to just like kind of like just embrace the change.
Yeah.
Like it's just hair.
Yes.
And especially when I started getting into wigs, I was like, okay, well, if anything's not working, I could just slap on a wig. Like that's nothing. Listen, I don't know. And I would say, I don't know how the fellas do it, but the fellas slap on the hat.
Yeah.
32 fitters in the room. You know why? Because I definitely like agree with you and understand what you mean by like,
yeah,
it's definitely just like a confidence boost. And it's kind of like the first thing that you really have control of, was taking back yourself, back who you are.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like, your last week was chaotic. And I just kind of like want to know, like in an industry or just in an environment where you kind of don't operate on the same type of schedule as like people typically do with like 9 to 5s. And you said you were just hustling last week to make your money back from New York Fashion Week. Do you say that you thrive on like spontaneity or like structure?
Oh, for sure, structure.
Okay.
And sometimes it'd be ending up in spontaneity, but I want to get to a point where it's just structure.
Uh-huh.
And I went to a business event, actually, by Tempire.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to her. But I went to her business event in January, and I feel like that was a great way to start my year because I met other hairstylists, and she's so structured to the point where it's like, that is goals. Like,
Gotcha.
I want to be there, so it just feels like there's no friction or like I don't have this anxiety because I know I have to get certain things done with the spontaneity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so valid. I think like you brought up a good point, just kind of like as we start talking more about creativity, like the things that we kind of, and we look at creativity as a muscle, all the other little muscles that we need to kind of like make sure that like we maintain that, like a certain level of structure, a certain level of discipline. And then even like inspiration, which brings me to like my next question. Do you think creativity can exist without inspiration, or do they go hand in hand?
For sure. Yeah. I feel like creativity and inspiration is similar to like motivation and discipline. To where you can have discipline, or if you have that discipline, you're not going to always have motivation.
Okay.
So creativity, you sent me a video earlier this morning where the lady was basically talking about to combat anxiety. You work your creativity. And she was saying that something as small as like making a sandwich or folding clothes or making your bed, that's considered creating. And we don't look at it as that. But I feel like when we do, then that will start to pull that inspiration.
So you think like in the same way that you can have discipline without motivation, you can have creativity without inspiration?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I feel that. So like inspiration is kind of like one of those little muscles that helps work creativity though. It helps support creativity. Like it may not necessarily be like absolutely necessary, but it is like something that supports it.
Yeah, I feel like you get inspiration from creating things though.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So you don't think the inspiration comes first, you think the creativity comes first?
It's one of those things where it goes back and forth.
Okay.
But I feel like you can create without inspiration. Yeah.
Okay, that's valid. Okay, so speaking of the aspect of creativity, you and I have both worked with kids. And one of the things that kids have a ton of is imagination. In fact, if you are a kid without imagination, it really does concern me. And I really do try and like be like, no, let's spark that
for real
imagination. But speaking of imagination, have you felt like, your imagination has ever been like dead, or have you like lost it? And if so, like how'd you get it back and how do you maintain it currently?
I want to say yes, but no. Simply
Okay.
just because, like, those times where I was, like, the main times where I feel like I lost my inspiration, lost, I want to say loosely, was when I was depressed. But I feel like even in those, like, dark times, I still knew it was just a moment. Like, it's like, you're not want to hold me that
hostage forever.
You know what I'm saying? So, wait, remind me of the question.
Imagination. Like, do you think it's like, has it ever been dead for you? Like, has your imagination ever been dead? Like, especially as we go into adulthood, I think, like, sometimes we lose, like, creativity, imagination, inspiration. Sometimes the things that, like, kind of, like, make us so amazing as kids, we lose as in adulthood. So I was just wondering, like, in your transition to adulthood, you ever feel like you lost your imagination? And if so, how did you get it back? And how do you currently maintain it?
How did I get it back? Okay, I don't want to say dead. Definitely, like, misplaced, lost, you know, like, how did I get it back, though? Being in nature, meditating, those moments where my mind is super quiet.
Okay.
And I'm just allowing my thoughts to flow. Also, a little weed. Like, I feel like I don't really be smoking no more, but I feel like weed just can kind of take your mind to a place where you're not thinking about the current moment and allows your thoughts to just roam and flow. And I feel like those are the moments where you get the best ideas.
Yeah.
The shower too, because that's how I came up with my my business thing.
It's so interesting how much the shower, like, really brings out ideas.
Yeah, I love the shower.
And I don't know what it is about it. I don't know what it is about the water or just, like, whatever the case may be. The shower, and you're not the only person to say this. So many other types of creatives will say, my my best thoughts either came to me in the shower or, like, in a dream.
Yeah.
Like, those are, like, the two.
I love a dream.
Those are, like, honestly, I had a dream last night and I thought it was so real. And I woke up from it and I said, I should probably write this down. I was so tired.
Girl, I pull out the voice memos real quick. I don't write dreams down no more. I just be sounding crazy when I listen back to them. But no, that's why I save them real quick.
I couldn't do it. I was like, this is, like, something just... And honestly, like, I had a nightmare also last night. So it was just too much. I was like, honestly, I don't even want to, like...
Yeah.
Let's just try and get...
Let's forget that.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
Scratch that out. But you talked about the shower being the place that you came up with your name. How did you come up with, like, this concept, like, and everything? Like, name, the color, all of that.
Honestly, this was all during COVID.
Really?
Like, yes. This is when when the world was quiet. Yeah. I was like, no, like, I need to, like, God brought this for a reason. I had dropped out of Morgan during COVID. I was there for 2 years studying elementary education. I was just like, I don't think I'm meant to teach kids how to read for 30 years. Like, I need to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel like that's when I was also, like, tapping into my spirituality more too. So I was like, God brought this for a reason. I was listening to a lot of podcasts and I was still doing hair. So I was doing hair from high school on into college. And that was just, like, how I made my extra little money. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to just go to hair school. I was also doing business classes.
Okay.
So I was learning, like, about branding and message, like, what is the word? Brand identity.
Okay, yeah.
All of that type of stuff. And that's kind of when it started. And she was like, her name is Tamani, actually, Woman of Lynn. Her brand is great. And you're a girl boss. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. And I had nothing but time. Like, that's also when I was starting to make hella TikTok videos. Like, I went up. Yeah, I went up during COVID because I was just like, nah, I got to create. I got to create. And yeah, I came up with Ahmadj in the shower, just switching the A in image. And I wanted it to be something also from being in those business classes, something that was, like, easy to remember.
Yeah.
Not too long. Something where people could be like, oh, okay, like, I could see this in the future, you know? So, yeah.
I actually would like that. So you might went for, like, a futuristic look.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like I see that even in... Because isn't your thing a hexagon?
Yeah,
like
that's all. That was also a sign for me. Okay. That I was like, okay, I need to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, okay, he got the what do they call these? The
some type of lights, LED lights, recessed lights.
No, it's a name for it. the honeycomb lights.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was like, he got the honeycomb lights. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah. No, and I think the whole vibe like really goes too. Like, and you talked about brand identity. So like, I feel like like being a creative, being in like this type of business, like image is everything. Image, identity, like, you know, where Ahmadj are. It is though. It is everything, and you're a person who kind of helps people create their image.
Yeah.
So like, what are some things that go through your mind when like what are some aspects of an identity or image that goes through your mind when you're helping somebody create the look for themselves?
Definitely colors.
Okay.
Lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And their closet. I mean, I would say color and lifestyle overall, because you can connect like their closet to lifestyle. You feel me? So yeah.
So when you say color, like what aspects of color? Like, first of all, what makes you choose like blue for like the like? Is it just because blue looks nice in here, or
okay? So blue was like one of those gender neutral colors that I knew I wanted to service men and women. So I was like, okay. And then all the girls were doing pink. I'm like, that's so played out. Like, no. So blue also means trust, and how I want people to feel. My brand is very futuristic. It has this feel of like innovation, and I want when people see my brand, they're like, ooh, like I'm trying that because Ahmadj did it. You know, so that's where the inspiration for blue came from. And then the other colors in my brand are just neutrals. And that was something I studied too. Like, as I'm looking into like the business branding and all of that, I don't know if you noticed. Oh, actually, I seen it. You posted it. But basically, like, brands are now going down this lane where they're using more neutral colors. Like, remember like how like back in the day buildings used to be super like colorful. Yeah. And now I feel like we're going down this very industrialized version of all these colorful brands, because I mean that's the future. So I was trying to also keep that in mind when I was coming up with my colors. So
definitely. I want to go back to that point that you talked about, like the taking out of color, because it actually wasn't like, I see how you made that connection, but the video actually made me sad because it was just showing like a decline of like color just in our world in general. It's on my Instagram, if you follow me. But I do also kind of like want to talk about like some of the things that I see in this room, like the little sticky note and the planner and stuff like that. How important is it, like as a creative, as somebody who kind of works in the space, not just color, but to have like tangible things that you can like reference or look at or be reminded of in your space?
Because I'm so visual, I also like am a kinesthetic learner too. So
okay, got you.
I feel like with the sticky notes being on the wall, it's like a reminder, like, okay, this needs to happen. Like I can always pull it, move it.
Yeah.
As long as I like, it's also the brightness of the color. I feel like it's reminding me, okay, that's something important.
Like,
you know. So
I'm the same way, because like at my house, like I was doing some planning for the new year, and I had set up like, so first what I had done was like I put like 6 different sections of sticky notes on my wall. And then in those sections I put in one color the goals that I wanted to achieve in these areas, and then another color the desired outcome of achieving these goals.
Yeah.
And then after I did that, I put note cards on my closet doors January through June, and then July through December of the month. And then I moved those sticky notes to like whatever month I wanted to kind of like accomplish those goals. And I was gonna take it down after I did it, but like, no, you know, they're not moving. And it's like perfect because it serves as a constant like visual reminder. Like, this is like something that I have, like, that I want to get done, because like I have my vision board, but it's digital. Sometimes
the same,
you know, like sometimes you want something to remind you, like, to keep your eye on the prize, like keep yourself focused, and goal oriented.
For sure. I seen you post that on your story, and I think after this I'm gonna go home and actually do it, because I feel like this is like the third time. Third time the charm. I'm like, let's go. But I feel like the first place I seen that was Being Mary Jane, and when I seen her do that, I was like, no, this is genius. Like I used to do it all the time because My memory was so bad when I was smoking weed every day.
Listen.
Yeah, so I feel like also it being on sticky notes makes it more manageable because it's only but so much you can put on a sticky note. You know, that helps too because it's like 3 words, make them straight to the point.
Okay, yes, exactly. And my aunt, she's a person that she has a lot of mirrors in her house, and she's a person that has sticky notes on her mirrors. And when I go over the house, I don't even necessarily read the sticky notes, but it's just the fact that like it's there and it just catches your eye. And I'm like, yeah, I need something like that in my house.
Yeah.
And like obviously I don't read her sticky notes, so they don't like pertain to me. I don't get. But in my house, I read my sticky note, and it just makes all the difference. To be honest, yeah. But like we talked about image, we talked about inspiration. I want to know though, can you share a time when a hairstyle like completely transformed someone's confidence?
It's definitely those times when I do color.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just did color Saturday on my girl Gabby. Like if she went as far as to do her eyebrows. When I
to do the eyebrows,
bro, and that's all some of they don't forget we're kind. Like I don't even think you know, but like you're kind. Like what? That and I had 2 clients actually named Sydney. Well, 3, but the ones that mainly come to me, like both of them have done color, and I could just see like a change, like a glow. Like I don't know. Sometimes black is not your natural color. I don't care. Maybe you were supposed to be a copper. It's supposed to be a redhead. Like. Maybe even blonde shit.
That's true. Like there's certain colors other than black that compliment you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They say God don't make mistakes. Like girl, maybe
I mean that's why he gave us hairstyle. Okay. So he didn't make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think also like with color, like you can't steer away. Like you can't shy away from it. Like there's no way you could be walking around with bright red hair.
Yeah. It's like I'm here.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That's why I said sometimes your confidence, or not even sometimes, but your confidence really does come from the outside sometimes. Like, and it takes that look for you to build your confidence.
Yeah.
You know
or it's like, remember, like, it's not even like sometimes like, you know, this person, you're a new person, but sometimes it's like returning to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, remember who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's what creativity brings out, because I think as a kid, you, even if you can be like kind of like swayed from it or deterred from like being who you are, I think being a kid is like, that's when you really know who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
To a certain extent, like even if you don't have the vocabulary or the confidence to say so, you do know who you are. And so with creativity as an adult and just trying new things and being inspired and using your imagination, this, that, and the third, you just return to yourself.
Yeah.
I that's one thing that I just love about that. But we talked about like color, and you said that you love when your clients do color, and that's when you see their confidence transform. But what inspires you when creating new looks for clients?
What inspires me? Honestly, I feel like most of the time it's just personal, that knowledge that I have of like tones and colors and a person's personality too. If I know your undertone, I feel like I can pick like
a good.
Yeah, I can just naturally see like a color that will look good on you. It's like, oh yeah, that would be fire. Along with Pinterest, you know, Pinterest allows me to convey those ideas to my client because obviously they can't see what's in my head. But yeah, I feel like it's just understanding tones and Pinterest. Yeah.
So like when it comes to that knowledge, like you work in an industry that, you know, even though you're a professional and you have a certain level of knowledge, like there is still like a lot of client input, a lot of client collaboration compared to somebody who's like, you know, a marketer and they get to go back to the drawing board, work on their stuff and then present to something. But like you're like working in real time and the client gets to see it. So like how do you balance like, you know, maybe like a client's input and kind of desires with like your, not only your professional expertise, but like also your own creative vision?
Honestly, most of the time people that are coming to me are people that trust me.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's a big part of how marketing works, like social media, like you posting your pictures on social media because people can see, okay, this is her work. Like I know that I can trust her because she's done this. And most people come with that energy already towards me. Like, okay, like I trust you, just choose what you think. But if I do come across a client who like maybe like a little weary or they have this certain idea in their head, I would just tell them like, okay, this is your undertone. Like giving them straight facts and then allowing them to see it from our point of view. So this might make you look a little muddy because your undertone is gold. So doing a cool tone hairstyle is probably not the best for you. You know me? So yeah.
And how do clients react when like you give them that type of like knowledge?
I feel like it's pretty neutral. Like it's never like too much. Might be a little like disappointment, but it's like, girl, I want to steer you the wrong way.
Right. So that plays a part into like how you want your clients to feel. Like what is, I know you have to blue because you want your clients to trust you, but like if you could give like, I want to say like 5 overall feelings that you want your clients to leave with when they leave a chair, like what are those 5?
5 feelings. Okay.
Or 3, you could do 3.
Let's start with 3.
Okay.
Okay. 3, renewed.
Okay.
Confident.
There you go.
And iconic.
Iconic's a good one.
Yeah. I feel like they all kind of like go in the same flow, but like especially them girls that come in and getting some crazy shit, like a mullet or something. Like, yeah, girl, you are a rock star. You feel me? Like,
I want a mullet. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but I know it's my head. Like I just know how much hair we gotta put on top of it, and I just be so worried about like.
I mean, maybe we can do like the bowl ones. That probably fits your head a little bit more. It will be more weight on this side, and then this side could be
like
trimmed down, like like the underneath part is like tapered to your head, and then like I feel like that would be a little more.
There we go. Stay tuned for the next style, y'all. But yes, okay. So you like renewed, confident, iconic. Yeah, I think those are good descriptions. I definitely feel like iconic when I step off the chair for sure.
Yeah,
I just be like, yo, it's a new color, a new. You know what I'm saying? That's like one of my favorite things. So I definitely feel you when you say that. We talked about like people viewing like getting their hair done as self-care and stuff like that. But I don't think a lot of people kind of like take into account like what the people who what's the word I'm looking for? Contribute to your self-care, like actually like go through like, masseuses, if that's the word, hairstylists, makeup artists, all that stuff. Like when it comes to like being a self-care practitioner, which is kind of like what I see y'all as, like what's in it for y'all? Like where do y'all get y'all self-care from? How do you see servicing others as a form of self-care, and servicing your creativity as a form of self-care?
I would say it's like words of affirmation, honestly. Like I feel like a lot of my clients, when they leave my chair and they love their hair, it's always like they give you compliments because they feel so good. So giving me that love that I just put into them, and they're like, oh my gosh, girl, your hands are magical. Or it's just like a reminder outside of the ones that you give yourself. But like that you're that girl for like you really like make something out of nothing. So yeah.
But I mean, sure, like I get that, but surely you can't like survive off of like just words of affirmation. So like, how do you like take care of yourself? How do you, after you've spent the whole day pouring into others, how do you like pour back into yourself? Or do you like pour back into yourself?
Okay. Self-care when it comes to like pouring into myself, honestly, my favorite ways are just resting, because those times where I am like working long hours, it's like, okay, because I fall asleep so easily, I just feel like sleep is so important to me. Like, and when I don't get it, it's like I'm not myself. So definitely sleep, pedicures, because I stand on my feet a lot, like massages, and making sure that my hair is done is a big part of it, or at least feeling like, okay, maybe I have been throwing a wig on this whole week. But as long as I'm feeling like confident in myself to continue to, or as long as I'm feeling confident in myself to walk around and just, I feel like I can still serve a look with the wig and the hat.
Yeah.
I feel like that's most important. So, yeah.
That's
I would say, like, even if my nails aren't done, maybe like a little press on. You know what I mean? Like, these little two came off. They're okay. But because I make content with my hands, I feel like that's important. So, yeah.
I think you bring up a good point for sure.
Yeah.
How not only, I think sometimes also when we talk about like image creation, people see it as like something that's vain. But it's like with image creation, it really can like help your mood, help improve the way that other people see you and treat you. Like image is very important, not because like, you know, all your worth is tied to like your exterior, but because putting effort into like how you look and how you come across to people, just serves you in general.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yeah, like because
This is the beauty industry. Like,
yeah,
you have to remember that.
yeah, that's true.
Look good. Sorry about it. I seen this post the other day. It was a male hairstylist. He said, "Stop posting y'all ugly friends on y'all page." I said, "Oh my God." But it's like the girls with face are really what sell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that beauty in the shit, and because that's what people are like aspiring to.
Yeah.
So like it is like it's fucked up. It is fucked up. Like
it is.
Nobody's saying it's not fucked up, but like
all of my clients are beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. And it's like it's not to say that, but it's like when you think about like something that you're aspiring to, people can't just separate the hairstyle from the person. Yeah, if that makes sense. Which again is why it's important to make sure like you listen to your hairstylist, because like you could have a really bomb wig on, but if it is that fire engine red that does not complement your skin tone, it's not going to matter. Everybody's going to be wondering why you put it on your head. You feel me? So yeah, it matters. It matters. I think about like when I go to work and I wear a bunch of color, like I just want people be calling me the it girl and stuff like that at work. It makes me a little like, oh, thank you. But I do also work with a lot of like people who are like I'm 25, so like a lot of the people that I work with professionally like older than me.
Oh yeah.
So I do also kind of want to get my age away. I do not want anybody to think that I'm 30 years old. Not yet. I'm not there. So you know what I'm saying? So I do want people to know that I am a young tenderoni.
Right.
Per se. Any rich niggas out there. Holla right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely understand like in terms of just like Ahmadj is everything. You know hits. But in the industry that is like constantly evolving, constantly changing, the beauty industry I'm talking, how do you like stay inspired when like stuff is just always changing?
Honestly, I don't really pay attention to what everybody else got going on because I am trying to be the trendsetter.
No, you're that girl.
Yeah.
You just have no choice but to be that girl. And I feel like I'm that girl.
Well, what if you don't wake up feeling like that girl? How do you be that girl?
You need to go back to sleep and wake back up again so you can feel like that girl.
Like, period. Ahmadj is the brand that sets trends.
No.
And if I just focus on like what looks good on my client or continuing to create styles that like maybe I've seen before, but I'm recreating or adding something new to it, like I feel like I am the trend, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's my goal for anybody who sits in my chair to feel like a trendsetter or that they're able to just try something new and inspire someone else to try something new. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people see my hair, they'll be like, oh, you know, I love that. Like, I wish I could do that. And I literally be something, I'm like, you can. I was like, all you gotta do is find the right tone for you. Like, when they come to talk about color, I'm like, yeah, all you gotta do is find the right tone for you. All you gotta do is this. All you gotta do that. Like, people talk to me all the time, and I just like, just do it.
And then, like, whole tea, they don't even know this your first time. Like, that's why I be telling the girls, just do it. Like, it's not going to make any difference if you've done it or you haven't done it. Because when you get that compliment after, and it's your first time doing it, you're like, oh, I can do anything. Like, and that you can. Like, come on now.
Yeah, no, that part. I definitely completely wholeheartedly like understand what you mean by that. And like also like it's something about just we talked about this. Did we talk about this in this episode? I think we talked about this earlier, but like changing up my hair was like the first way I kind of like was able to like control my image.
Yeah, same.
Cause like my mom used to buy me my clothes and bless her heart. Like, why am I shopping at Chico's with you? Please. Love her down.
That's funny.
Did the best that she could. Love you, Mom. But, like, no 12-year-old should be getting a blouse from Chico's. Like, why can't I go to Journeys or Justice? Like, every other, you know what I'm saying? But my hair, because she stopped doing my hair when I was 10. So, I've been kind of on my own since a jit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's like, hair was like the number one place where it's like, well, she's not doing it. She's not paying for it. It's free range.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah.
That's exactly what it become. But I feel like my mom was the opposite in the sense of like, she was trying to keep me young. And I'm like, babe, these little cornrow styles with my natural hair is not doing it. Like, we need a little extra. And we need a silk prep, a little something like, and that's why I told myself, because I'm like, no, girl, you're not going to keep sending me out here looking at these crunchy ass cornrows.
Let me give her some bundles. The same, because bundles that she's been having past week.
Like, granted, and then that's another thing too. Like, it's cool when it's like the first month, but it's like you're not getting your hair done, so your mom get her hair done. Sometimes that's like maybe a week and a half after you should have took. So man, shout out to hair.
Hair saved me. Just say, no, hair saved us. How about that? But you know, you mentioned a good point because something that I didn't even touch on in this episode, I guess because we're talking about creativity, but in terms of like hairstyling as it pertains to self-care, you know, the hair shop, the barber shop, there are places where we can come and just like really be ourselves. For one, like it's kind of like our most naked selves outside of being actually naked. Because like when you at that wash bowl, it don't get more naked than that. It's just vulnerable. Yeah, super vulnerable. And that also plays into like why, you know, love the blue space, but why you have to trust the person whose hands are in your head.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
it's just,
I mean, what can I say?
You shouldn't be sitting there, for one. But
because I don't understand the people who sit down in a chair are already hesitant about the person that's doing their service. And then they sit there for an entire service that they hate. And then they don't say anything. And then they leave. And then they go on TikTok.
Yeah, that shit is treacherous.
Then they go home and they get on the website and they talk bad about the person who did it. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe she did do a horrible job. I will give you that. But why did you leave and why did you pay for it?
Yeah.
Hello? Have you ever had a client, like, experience a client who didn't like what they got and they didn't speak up? Or just in general, have you ever had a client that didn't like what they got?
Yes, for sure. I used to do like a lot of braids, protective styles. And I feel like I was doing that, one, because it was easy. That was the first thing I taught myself. So I was like, okay, I can do this on other people. Like, at the time, I was also looking at hair as a side hustle. I wasn't really looking at it as my job.
Gotcha.
So the girl left. I don't really remember the details. You know how they say forget trauma. But yeah, the girl left and she was just like, the locks are stiff or whatever the case may be. And I hated doing locks anyways, but it was because of the type of hair she bought. And yeah, it was bad. I'm glad those days are over. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So those days are over. What's the most rewarding thing about doing hair, do you feel?
Building relationships with my clients. Yeah, I'm definitely like I love people. Like I love talking to people. And I feel like seeing those people open up who are like kind of like hesitant at first, or just like seeing, like, you know how in TV shows like characters develop.
Yeah.
Like I really like see my clients as that, you know, like, okay, girl, you didn't even want to do a bob cut.
Yeah.
Like what, 2-3 months ago, and now you sitting here trying to do a patch too. Like, stop! This is not the same girl that walked in. Like
That'd be the best part. Yeah, I like that. And I'm a huge person on like relationships, and just like that's why I stay with my hairstylist. I stay with my nail techs. Like once you kind of like build that foundation of relationship, it's really, I feel like, easy to like retain clientele.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to just retain, like the relationship is the biggest part.
Yeah.
So I definitely like 100% understand that. But as we wrap up the episode, I always have like, you know, my guests give some piece of advice. And my first piece of advice I would like you to give the audience is just like one hair advice that you wish like people followed. It doesn't even have to be about the washing.
Get that trim. Like that trim will save you like so much time. It don't even gotta be like, say, like, sometimes it be time. Sometimes it do be time. Like, okay, you ain't tell your stylist ahead of time, so it's like, maybe we gotta put that back. But you knew you needed that trim 2 months ago. Go ahead, add it to your service so your hair can continue to grow out healthy. The breakage is gone. Like, trims are so important. Like, I literally just cut off like half of my hair. Like, I have like 4 inches of hair on my head right now. But it's kind of just like, I will always take health over length.
Yeah.
Like, I just get so irritated combing through dry ass hair, or just like I can feel the ends of my hair just needing help, and the trim is always going to do it.
Yeah.
And then it makes it easier for the sense of like you combing through your hair, like your comb is not getting stuck. You know why? Because there's no square ends. You got that trim. So get the trim.
I agree with Aminah. As somebody who recently cut their hair into a bob, I'm trying to like grow it as much as I can and hopefully cut the color out. I don't know if I'll end up being able to cut the color out like in the time frame that I want, but I know I'm gonna keep up with my trims. I don't normally play about my trims. I think I get my trims pretty consistent. Yeah. And then, so the last piece of advice I want you to get to the audience is like one piece of like creative advice. One piece of creative advice.
If you're getting a thought to do something, do it. Like, the idea is not continuing to come to you for you to ignore it. It's continuing to come to you because you need to do it. And you never know, that one thought could lead to something even bigger. Like, even though I do hair full time, I've tapped into, you know, putting looks together, taking pictures, because I had so many photographer friends. And who knows, like, this could turn into me getting free clothes and being a hairstylist. But that's all simply because I took that chance and I acted on the thought that came to me. So faith will always beat fear. And don't allow somebody to do that idea before you.
Yeah, because I was going to add to that, like, if you keep an idea and you keep ignoring it, the creative ether or God, the universe, whoever you believe in or whatever you feel like your creativity is swimming in, it's going to give it to the next person.
Yeah.
And, you know, you was chosen first. So don't be mad when the runner-up reaps the benefits.
Yeah.
Because now you're sitting there like, I had that idea long time ago and I did.
Like, we don't want to hear that.
Excuses.
And that comes to hairstyles too, though. Like, you're not getting that idea to go red just cause, bro. Do it. You're gonna look great.
Exactly.
You're gonna look great.
And if you don't know what kind of red to do,
that's why your hairstylist is here.
Boom. Boom.
Come on, y'all.
So yeah, I think this was an amazing episode. I'm so happy you were here to just be able to talk to us just about like creativity.
That fine shit.
Yeah, period. But yeah, I'm so happy you were able to go on this episode and just talk about creativity and how it, you know, factors into all of our self-care. For those of you guys who don't know out there, I already said this is my girl Aminah herself. You can find her on Instagram at Aminah herself. That's 2 H's.
3. They took my old job. Yeah.
3 H's. Aminah, Aminah herself.
Exactly.
Or Ahmadj Hairco. Follow both, honestly. You won't be disappointed. And yeah, if you've liked this episode of the Check-In Podcast, please do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Okay.
And don't gatekeep, y'all. If you liked it, share it with somebody who else you know would like it. Somebody who else you know would learn from it. Somebody else you know who would benefit from it. Do not gatekeep over here. As always, lead with light, lead with love, and there will be a new playlist this week. All right. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Past week. Let me give her a new style, a new hairdo, a new cut, a new color.